What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Marc Haize Show. It's got my boy EJ, my boy KO, my boy JP. You know, we all feeling good this evening, feeling great. We're just here to make better people, man. How was your week?
My week was eventful, I must say, and it was awesome.
It was eventful.
Yeah, man, we started doing this new thing, my buddy KO and I, 30 days, no drugs and alcohol. It was a little tough the first few days, I'm not going to lie.
So, wait, when did you start?
We started like Monday at 8 p.m. I don't even know why.
Okay,
it was such a random
I just smoked with you not too long ago.
The other day when you came back in there. So 2 days later. And then he was like, he hit me up Monday. So I thought we were starting Monday, like day of Monday. And he's like, yeah, 8 p.m. And I was like, 8 p.m.? Oh, so I can keep doing more marijuana? Like,
I can do as much as I please.
Oh, okay. I'm going to get high as a kite until the time comes in.
Okay.
I didn't realize how much it was useful for me to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Until I went a few days without him. My food habits, it was hard to kind of eat per se for some time.
Really?
And even sleeping as well. I didn't realize how I was using that to kind of go to sleep at times.
Really?
And so my sleep schedule is just all over the place. And
so do you feel more energized? Do you feel different?
I feel clearer than I took another page from your book. I started meditating this week as well. That was a slam dunk. That always makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah, it does. It really does. I literally feel my mind just uplifted for some reason. It's literally like something goes through my body into my brain, and it feels not only spiritual, but there is a physical empowerment with it.
I believe that.
Yeah, I don't understand it completely, but there is power in sitting still and just focusing your attention on your breath and what you're doing, honestly, because I hear a lot of people do meditation through, action as well. They go running or they find something to do, like people clean up the house and whatnot just to meditate in different ways. But I do the same. I sit still and I focus on my breathing. And with that, doing it consistently, you notice the difference. You feel less stressed, you feel calm, and you feel more confident about life, ready to attack,
I definitely feel it. I did it before I came here, and I was like, I feel a lot. But then I put on the Humdrum Town.
Okay.
And I get a little emotional. I was like, this is an emotional song. And
really?
Yeah, I started just down there crying. I was like, this is amazing. This song.
All right. We're going to take tally marks on how many times you say you cry.
All the time.
Like every week, it's like, oh, man, I just damn near cried. We're crying every time, all the time.
There's no shame in my
There's no shame. Just let it out. We all need to cry more, honestly.
Yeah, I feel the same way because it kind of it's like releases emotions.
Yeah, like what are you doing to keep up your positive energy and I guess your reason to go every day, I guess. Like you asked me this not too long ago, like what I do when going gets tough, but what do you do when just on a daily practice to keep you motivated and working and energized?
There was a few things that kind of happened this week in my life, and I was a little irritated about it. And like last week, when we went to church, KO and I went back to Champions, and the pastor was saying, basically like the story of Paul, that he was in jail and he was still joyful because he chose joy. So like when these scenarios were happening internally, I was like, I'm going to choose joy. I'm not going to allow this to affect my life. And, you just kept on moving. And so that was another big thing. But when we went through Spring ISD, remember they would get on announcement and be like, make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.
It's funny. They said that, and it has so much power when you look in hindsight because it's all about perspective. And when they were saying it, I don't even know if they were aware of how impactful that saying is to hear every day.
I didn't aware of it until maybe the last year. Then I started really thinking deeper on what they were meaning. It's like, oh, it really is a choice to be joyful. And to be,
it really
excited,
is.
You know what I mean?
It's all about your outlook on life. Whether you're happy or you're sad or what you view, it all depends on your own perspective. So, I mean, I don't want to get to extreme examples or anything, but I just know that, let's say, I don't know. I keep thinking of the worst case scenarios whenever I try to think of an example. But just say like somebody dies, like your friends or your family, and I mean, of course, you're going to have to take your time to mourn, but also you can look at it as, they're like the people say they're in a better place now.
I believe that. I mean, look, I was talking to AC the other day when I was getting my hair cut, and he was telling me about his house situation, and he inherited that from his mother. And I said, wow, look at this blessing. Your mom is still blessing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think that, there's some truth in that.
It's a blessing that his mom was able to leave him something behind, was able to have a legacy, and you know, because not a lot of us have that in our families, and that's what we're working on now. You know, generational wealth and whatnot. I feel like I'm speaking slower because I'm trying to. I was watching our last podcast and all that, and I've noticed that I say like a lot. So I'm trying to make a conscious effort to not say like. You know what I'm saying? And like, I feel myself like,
As you're
But,
saying it in the sentence.
Yeah, because I'm trying to, you know, speak slower and, you know, just think before I speak. But when you speak emotionally and you get excited, I'm such an emotional person.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll just start talking and just firing off, and I'm not even thinking about what I'm saying. I'm just coming from the heart. And, you know, when that happens, it's just, it's authentic, it's genuine. But sometimes it doesn't come out the cleanest. It's kind of like when Kanye West, whenever he goes wild. I'm not as extreme as Kanye West, of course, but you know, Kanye is the perfect example of someone who doesn't think before they speak.
For sure.
But that's what I used to love. Well, that's what I still love about him. He's going through that terrible divorce right now.
Oh, I did hear about that.
Yeah, that's wild. So I feel like we're going to get a pretty powerful Kanye album pretty soon. He's got Jesus and a divorce. So I wonder how that's going to go. We're going to get like a twist of My Twisted Dark Fantasy meets Jesus is King. I have no idea. Like,
I mean, I just hope he's not on the album bashing Kim Kardashian.
nah, Kanye.
Because that's how that Twisted Dark Fantasy. Like some of those songs, he was just going in on those songs. He was just attacking. And now it's exciting, you know what I mean? And on the back, it's like, damn, that's kind of foul. You know, that's still the mother of your children.
I mean, it's different. Like, that was Amber Rose. That was a situation. This is his wife. I feel like Kanye, even though he is an extreme character, I feel like he would be mindful of that. You know, he's definitely a lover at heart. So he's not going to go and diss Kim Kardashian on TV unless he hears about something wild, because I've heard of situations. You heard about the whole Meek Mill situation? Or I don't know. It was some Tekashi 6. Nah. It was this whole rumor about Meek Mill sleeping with Kim Kardashian, but that ended up being a rumor or not. I don't know. I didn't read too much in depth about it. But the Meek Mill.
That's tough. That's tough. You know what I mean? Because my best friend sent me something today, and he was like, "Yo, I'm out at a bar right now, and I see this really hot girl, and she's with a dude. I just went to go talk to her."
Right.
And he was like, "Well, this is what happens when you're with beautiful women. The wolves are gonna attack." You know?
The wolves are gonna attack.
And
actually, my boy Tory, you know Tory, of course.
Yeah,
everybody knows.
We all know Tory.
We all know Tory. My boy Tory, I don't know why I said it like I didn't know. Like, my boy Tory.
That boy Auditory superstar out there,
shout
Prospect Park, Willowbrook.
Auditory is talking about, he put a public apology on his Instagram not too long ago, talking about how he slept with a woman and somebody wasn't a fan of him because the man who slept with the woman was a fan of the woman. I don't know if he dated her. We don't know the.
Wait, what? That was a lot.
Let me. Basically, the dude was dating this chick.
Okay.
And the chick slept with Tory. But Tory didn't know.
He didn't know
that shit happens, though.
That does happen.
That does happen. I don't feel like the man who's upset in that situation is aware of his position with the woman.
Sure.
And that's when that situation comes about. But I mean, sometimes, you know, women they be doing what they do too. You know, like
they like to have sex.
Women like to have sex.
They do.
I mean, we're in a culture where we're trying to preach loyalty, but we also got this whole black man don't cheat, but we also have, you know, real ass bitch give a fuck about it. You know what I'm saying? That's the culture we raised around. So it's kind of hard to, you know, to survive as a loving man in this situation, I guess. A mix of clashing ideals. You said mix, right?
Well, that and we're in the midst of it.
We're in the midst of clashing ideals.
Well, on the back end, you know what I mean, to play a little, I guess, defend Tory. The concept is like, what was the dude doing in the relationship that brought it to this?
That's what he should ask himself.
You know, like
he was upset at Tory.
He was upset at himself.
because the girl slept with, because the girl slept with Tori. But the truth is, he should ask himself. Like I said, he doesn't know his position in this woman's life, or ask him what went wrong with this relationship. Like, have you had a situation of having an Eskimo brother?
I mean, I hope not.
You hope not.
Yeah, that's like someone that I know. That'd be a little weird.
It's happened. It happens. Like, it happens more often than you think.
I agree with EJ, but yes, it does. It's very common. I avoid them at all costs.
I mean, the thing is, sometimes you don't find out until afterwards.
Of course.
Most times you don't find out until afterwards. On multiple times, on multiple occasions, you find like, oh, dang.
I guess it all depends on just I mean, at the end of the day, like, that was something that was swirling through my brain this week that I was a little irritated about. You know what I mean? I met this woman, and then she was very attractive per se, and just things went from there. And then just push comes to shove. Like, one of my buddies had said something, maybe he'll go meet her as well. Then internally, I got very insecure.
Okay.
Because I was like, well, dang, because I remember on my last deep relationship that I was in, the manager that we worked with, he came up to me right after we started dating. He was like, yeah, me and such have a very close connection. I'm looking at him like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Who says this? You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy to begin with.
I mean, he was probably insecure in his own right because he was trying to defend his territory. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I've been with that too,
So, I mean, and I told myself again through that situation, I said, no matter what, I'm going to choose joy. And at the end of the day, let the universe handle that. And because this gentleman did tell me that, sometimes I worry about things that don't even happen. And I bring those into my life because I'm worried about it so much. So that energy attracts itself.
That is true. Insecurity attracts, the negative, I would say.
It does. And he said 99% of the things we worry about don't even happen. And the 1% that does, why not just wait till it happens and then deal with it then?
Right.
And so that was kind of what was swirling through my brain.
I think I was telling Tori, I was like, people got to stop investing so much in these generous females. Like,
because you got to take the power away.
Well,
we gonna get a mixer. Get my boy JP on his mic.
I would like a woman that I'm having sex with to have experience.
Yes.
I met this. I think it was last week during a snowstorm. I met this guy. I went out. I got stuff on.
You got something in your nose. Just get it. There you go.
Oh, okay, got you. It was
yeah.
We gotta get some hand sanitizer in here.
Just did it. We good. I didn't know what I expected you to do, but it wasn't that.
You think I was gonna? Well, I'm not gonna stop and get.
You could have just like hit it with this.
Whatever.
I don't know. Back of the hand.
Whatever.
It don't matter. But what were you saying?
So during the snowstorm, I picked up these. It was a family, and the gentleman, we started talking, and he said that whenever he met his wife in grade school, he told her, he's like, I'm going to marry you. And she was looking at him like, I'm not going to marry you. Like, this guy's crazy. Then fast forward years later, like, she hit him up. Things started happening. Next thing you know, they end up getting married. And she was a virgin, like, during this concept. And, like, she waited till marriage to have sex. There are women, that are in that aspect. And I remember when she said that, I said, well, I'm not asking God for that, like, okay, like, okay.
That's not what I want.
No, not
I
at
need
all.
some experience.
No, not at all. And so going back to this woman, over the last week, talking to her deeper, you could tell, like, she's a little bit younger, that she still has experience in the realm of sexual activity, which I personally appreciate because, I mean, like, bro, we're almost 30 now. What do I look like? Your damn teacher in the bedroom? You know what I mean? Like, like, what are we doing?
No, I ain't got time for that.
No.
I've heard that before.
Like, I
I'm
want you to get
coachable,
bust
coachable.
down.
No. I don't have the time. I am not. I am retired from the coaching game.
Yeah, like,
I was coaching because I was playing. I was trying to figure it out too. But now that I know what I like, you need to just do it. You need to just. I could tell you, but at the same time, it's just like you have to do it enthusiastically. You have to want to do it.
Yeah.
You have to want to do it because you want to do it, not because I told you to do it. That's the thing that bothers me. When you meet these women, it's like, oh, like, what do you want? It's like, just do what you want to do, and I'm going to do what I want to do. We're going to bring it together and just have some sexy sex.
Yeah, and also let me know what you like. You know, if it's our first few times getting, you know,
The
intimate.
first few times we just filling each other out. We
Yeah.
just trying. You know, you don't want to get too nasty, but I ain't gonna lie, I go all out. I'm just like that. But I try not to.
What do you mean? Explain deeper.
I mean, you know,
What-
so I've been told. I think we talked about this last episode, but I've been told that you're not supposed to go all out the first time. Going all out means, giving your best stroke game.
Oh, I don't
Give-
hype myself up at all.
Somewhere to go.
Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go. If you start at the top,
It's only that.
Well, I don't
next
know.
time you're like, all right, I just
I
want to have
don't
sex
know.
for 5 minutes.
See, that's why, like,
it's
there was
not gonna work out. Like, what the fuck is going
Look,
on?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I only really need about 12, 15 minutes. I'm good. That's
Same.
it. Like,
I mean, as I get
That's
older,
all- I
man. But I honestly, it gets to a point where it's not about me anymore. It gets to the point where she's gonna talk. She's gonna tell her
She's
friends.
gonna let her
she's gonna be like,
friends know.
"Oh, this is the dude I'm talking to," and she gonna show pictures. Oh, he looks good, and then they go,
Nasty girl.
and
he
look,
nasty.
I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the here's the reality. A lot of the African American women I have sex with, I'm the only white dude they ever had sex with.
That's
so I'm
cool.
coming in and
So
I'm
you're
I'm-
already a story. In
I'm already
itself.
gonna try to perform. But
You're representing for the whole race.
I'm trying to represent. You know what I mean? I got some issues. I'm still
It's
trying
like
to work
if you
through.
mess it up, that's gonna be her story of her having sex with a white man. She's gonna be like, I tried to get this white dude a chance, and he just gave me this limp ass dick. I would never do it
I
again.
mean, my dick isn't huge, so when these chicks ask me, I'll be like, look, I don't know how it's gonna go. It might be good, it might not be good. I don't know. There's good, even though internally I know that I can perform. I don't want to get their hopes up because you know what I mean, like, and it might not be what they expected.
It's not even about them getting their hopes up. It's about having your mental ready. It's
My
like,
mental was ready.
It's like, I know this is about to happen. And then on top of that, when I have a condom on, of course, by default, I'm going to last longer because it's just,
Sure.
you know,
Dulls the sensation.
it just dulls the sensation. Condoms are not tight, but at the same time, I wear them. I do wear them
They're not. I'm
out
not.
of necessity. But I will admit, once I've been intimate with a person for a long time, we gonna
I don't know about that.
we gonna
I don't know about that one.
that boy JP know about that.
Yeah, JP know about it. JP got a whole child coming. He know.
Got a baby on the way.
Soon. It's coming soon.
That's a But yeah, honestly, I'm so afraid of having kids. Like, I'm not even afraid. I would say I just know that. I mean, so many people look at kids as such just like, I have kids and, it's going to happen. Like, my ex, she was like that. She was all like, yeah, having kids is going to be cool, blah, blah. And I was like, it's work. Like,
is a
you're
lot of
not going to
work.
be able to do all the things that you want to do
Right now.
before. You're going
Yeah.
to have to wait. You're going to get a couple years,
Let's give it 6. That's why you got to find yourself a young woman. You know what I mean? Like maybe, early 20s. Who has, because she's not going to want these things. The older the women get, they're going to want kids. You know what I mean? So it's,
Yeah.
so that way it's like,
What's his name? Was it Lionel Richie?
What about it?
Is it Lionel Richie? Shit, I have to look it up. But Lionel Richie, who he got him a 30-year-old girlfriend.
how old is he?
He's 70.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, that's wild.
He's 70. Let me back this up real quick. Let me make sure we're talking about the same person. Yup, Lionel Richie, bro. We got him. He's 71 years old. Got him a 30-year-old girlfriend. So I saw this meme online. Someone said, "Hey, don't trip, don't stress on all that finding the right female because your wife probably not even born yet."
That was amazing. Yo, I hope my wife is born. Like,
Lionel Richie was 40 years old when this girl was born. She was 0 years old. He had lived a whole 4 decades.
4 decades. He's been out here wild.
He was out here living his whole best life, being a famous musician, and then he settled down with a good 30-year-old chick who ain't asking him for too much but his money, I guess, and his good loving.
What I wonder what that's like though. Like imagine us dating someone 70, a woman that's 7 years old, like a grandma.
I would imagine me being rich very soon because that would be probably the most likely reason I would date a 70-year-old. Because I would be like, hey,
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm saying I would date a sugar mama.
No, I get what, I
If
get
you
what you're
didn't get
saying.
what I was saying.
I get what you're saying. I'm trying to think in my brain, like, what would be my age cutoff?
That's a good question.
You know, like,
I've never thought of that.
before I say this is just too much.
I just never. I look at older women and I just assume that they're not interested in me. But I can't even I can imagine a 50 or 60-year-old being like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Whoa."
I think it just depends on who it is.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. I'm like, I'll bust it down.
I mean, it does depend on who it is. You know, it's gotta match for me aesthetically, if you know what I'm saying. I've seen some good-looking older women who held on to, you know,
Their youth.
Their youth.
Yeah.
I'd say. I'm about to say their parts.
Those two?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you know, what is a good cutoff age?
I mean, I don't know, maybe 50?
50. That's solid.
Because it seems like they'd still be active enough.
Yeah.
And they still have, like, the remnants of their kind of younger body.
Then they got that wisdom.
I like
They
to
can
be a
teach
little,
us about the stock market.
That's it.
Older women are givers. I try to get me a sugar mama. I didn't try that hard, I'd say, but I don't really know how do you even do it, but I know people in LA who do it. Huh? Open houses?
It's like usually it's a divorcee or someone who's usually it's like divorcees or widows because they're down.
That makes sense. And they don't care what you got. They just be like, "Yo, you know, I got money. Like, you want to go out?" It's like, "Don't come to my house." They just want some attention and some penis. It's like, have you had that experience? You had that experience, JP?
Yeah, JP was talking like he's been in that route.
JP is talking like, yeah, you know, you hit the open house. He's giving us the blueprint. If you want you a sugar mama, you hit the open house. You make sure your skin is oiled really well. You know, you got to make sure you got the fresh haircut. You got your clothes on, you know, looking nice. And you got to, you know, you got to take away the miss and the misses. You just got to call her by her first name, and that's what turns her on. Hey, Cheryl.
Now, what do you think the youngest age to cut off? I mean, of course, it has to be over 18.
Okay. I remember the roommates podcast. They was talking about this. They were saying that it's like divided by 2 and add 7. So divide your age by 2 and add 7.
That's what Bill Burr says as well.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's a common saying apparently. So I'm about to be 30 this week. So I would say 15 plus
22.
Yeah, 22. I could do 22. As long as they're legal to drink. I can't do that whole not old enough to drink shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck
I don't
all
know.
that.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. The chick that I was speaking about, she was 20 years old.
20?
Yeah. And I was.
She gotta have a big booty.
Well.
She gotta have an extravagantly big booty.
Well, you know, that's, you know.
I'm just saying, it's like she gotta have some feature that a grown woman got for me to be like, oh, a 20-year-old, like, oh yeah, you know, because I ain't gonna lie, like I've seen 16-year-olds that look fucking 22, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Dude, I drove this woman this week, and she had to have been a senior in high school, and she was built like I thought she was early 20s. And then like dropped her off at the Greyhound station downtown, and as she was walking out, she was wearing booty shorts and butt like down there hanging out.
Booty.
And one of the homeless dudes was like barking at her.
Let me see that butt, girl.
And then he started like gathering all the other, you know, homeless people and like just staring at her.
Wait. They made a whole spectacle?
Yes.
It was like a movie scene.
Like, did you see her? And you know, a few days prior, you know, the woman that I know, we had this conversation about Me Too. I said, well, at the end of the day, like sometimes the women got to kind of understand what they're walking into. And I remember before, you know, this lady got out the car, I said, look, you know, you have a good day and also be safe. Because I knew what she was rolling into. She probably had no idea. She didn't even know what Greyhound Station was. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things. And
you think it was her first rodeo at the Greyhound?
If it was one of the first rodeos.
That Greyhound station is
That one's...
It's full of some very sketchy people.
Yes.
I used to ride the Greyhound to Austin just to take random trips. It was just a lot of random, strange people with just a lot of random, strange stories that I halfway listened to and can't recall at the moment.
That means you didn't really listen.
Nah, I did not. I didn't care what people at the Greyhound had to say. But, you know, I was there with it. It's funny. This guy, he said a joke on, I think it was something I saw online. This guy said, he's like, he was riding the bus or something, but he was riding the bus and still viewing, like, walking around as if people were still peasants, even though he's on the bus with them. He's like, oh, no. That's how I am. Don't touch me. I'll be riding the Greyhound. Don't touch me. No. You don't be washing your hands. Like, why are we like this?
Because people are attracted to cleanliness.
People are attracted to cleanliness. You know, there was a whole situation in New York where the crime rate went down in, I think, the 90s or the early 2000s because they made a conscious effort to keep the subways clean by cleaning up the graffiti and all the ground and shit.
Well, did you read Freakonomics?
No, I read this out of Malcolm Gladwell's book. I forget which one specifically though.
Okay. Well, I think it was Rudy Giuliani who was the mayor during that time, and that's when they started doing like the crackdowns and the predator stuff. And then in Freakonomics, they proposed that the Roe versus Wade concept of abortion started kicking in maybe like 10, 20 years prior. So they said that, that could also be a factor as well. It was a very interesting book.
Abortion?
Yeah.
Could play into the whole crime factor?
Well, it was because it had something to do with that the people that were getting abortions were kind of more in the lower income areas, like the kind of more impoverished
since they're
settings.
having less babies.
Since they're having less babies, and that was it was starting to correlate that, these individuals are committing more crimes since they were having less babies. Now, that was this economist, perspective. It was very interesting to kind of see about. Now, a lot of people kind of wrote it off because people are, against, abortion per se. And so they're like, they didn't want to believe it. And
I mean, that makes sense too. I mean, if a lot of people in the lower income, areas are not having children to grow up in the lower income areas and, commit more crime, I mean, that could play a part too. But I also am aware of the cleanliness factor as well. So all of that could have played into it. There's probably a lot of factors that we don't even know about as well. But it's just, it's interesting. I forgot how we even got here in the first place.
I don't remember at all.
We're almost at halfway.
Huh?
We're almost halfway.
Wow.
Oh, we're almost at 30 minutes? Damn, I haven't even gotten to the other shit yet.
Wow, we've been rolling.
We have been rolling,
We're
man.
having a good time.
It's having a good time. Started talking about big booties.
But
anyway, we're going to take a commercial break real quick. All right, y'all.
I'm Johnny Blazer, the Texas Racer. We cut through the bullshit, get your money ASAP. Car wrecks, Uber, Lyft, your cousins, your family, your friends, drugs. We'll sue for anything. Anything. I'm crazy now. We go after big companies with motherfucking katanas and shotguns. Billions of dollars. Call today.
And we are back in Houston, Texas, man. So I missed the crazy winter storm that happened last week.
You did. You were blessed.
I was blessed, man. I'm not even going to lie, man.
And I thought about it last week when I picked you up from the airport. I personally, because Joel talks about like family, blessings. You say your mom was very faith-filled. That probably might have saved you.
Possibly.
You know what I mean?
Possibly. I mean, I would say it didn't get terrible on this side. We went out of power for a day, according to Torrey. But apparently the first day we had power, we had water. The water eventually went out. We had a pipe burst outside, and we just got that fixed on Monday. But even with that, we could still use the water. We just had to be tactful because we had to turn on the pipe, and then we had to, and then we had to take a shower and wash our clothes and all that, and then we had to turn it off. But it would just run outside. It would get like super muddy, just water all over the place. But thankfully, they came on Monday and fixed it because it was going to get ridiculous.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, that was nuts.
You had power and everything.
Yeah, I did. I was blessed. Power and water.
So they explain it to give people context. So I had a shoot in Los Angeles. So I left on Saturday. I had to all of a sudden shoot too. I got booked probably that Thursday or Wednesday. That's why I told you it happened all fast. So I had to fly out to Los Angeles Saturday to take a COVID test, and I had to stay out there till Tuesday. And I was gonna fly back Wednesday, but the storm happened on Monday. Mm-hmm. Right. So I thought I'd be able to fly back on Wednesday. It's just snow. I mean, I was born in Detroit. Snow is just snow. But at the same time, I do realize that Houston isn't built for snow. Yeah. Apparently, we've all learned this. Nor flooding, even though it does that every year.
All the time.
That's a problem. Like snow is one thing, but the flooding situation, this is routine. We should definitely do something about this and be a little bit more proactive. Me personally, I'm not gonna do anything about it. That's not my job. There are teams.
Well, I was gonna say we could do something. We just leave.
Right? Oh, we could leave.
Like,
We could. I mean, we could leave, but I mean, what's that gonna do? You know, it's still gonna flood down here. It's well, I don't know how many people. 8 million people in the city. How many people?
Probably about 6.5, 7 million.
Six
Like
and
in
a-
the whole metropolitan. with
The
all
metropolitan
suburbs.
area is that include Spring and all that as
Yeah,
well?
that would go probably all the way up to like Magnolia, all the way down to probably like Alvin, that kind of area. The whole metropolitan.
Right. So it's just the city is gigantic. So I don't feel like there's excuses on why these things should happen. We should be prepared to keep all these people accommodated, in a healthy fashion. But at the same time, I do understand natural disasters. But will we get like an inch and a half of snow?
I don't know. The snow was on the ground for a few days.
No,
I mean,
when I came back, there was snow on the ground.
Yeah.
I kept seeing it here and there. That was odd. It was warm as hell outside.
yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
And
So-
I didn't know how impactful it was until it was Monday night. Then I started driving around the city, and like half the city was out of power.
That's wild. That was very unexpected because when it did snow, at the time when it was snowing, I wanted to go home. I was like, man, I want to go home, be in snow. I wanted an excuse to be locked in the house and play video games. But I ended up not being able to fly back until Saturday. Yeah, the city of Houston is just not prepared for all this. I accidentally pulled a Ted Cruz, in a sense.
Whatever. I did it a few years ago during Harvey. You remember that when I went out of town?
I did a reverse Ted Cruz because I flew into Harvey when I was living in Los Angeles.
And y'all were blessed during that time
We
as
were
well.
blessed.
Y'all were well.
I have been fortunate enough to not see any natural disasters affect me personally in a sense to where I didn't have power. Well, no. I'll take it back. Ike and Harvey. I think it was Ike when we were in high school.
We didn't have power for
We
like
didn't have
10
for like
days,
a
2
week.
weeks.
Yeah,
It was
2
wild.
weeks.
I remember that.
We were living like savages.
Look, at the end of the day, I grew up with no AC, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
Oh man, for real, you grew up with no AC.
Well, like we had AC, except my father was so frugal that he would never turn it
Oh
on.
yeah, my mom did that too.
So
I
you
thought
would
you
just-
meant like you didn't have AC.
I just equated to like there was no AC because it wasn't coming on.
Man, my mom still doesn't put on the AC. I come in the house, it just be hot. My mom be like, I'll be sweating in it. In my mom's house, I'd be like, why don't you turn it like, I'm fine. My little brother just be like, oh my God. he has to live there though because he's 16.
No, one day though, one
17.
thing he might appreciate, because I remember staying with one of my friends for a few weeks, and their AC went out, and they couldn't take it. Me, like growing up in that concept, I was like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I could deal with it.
I mean, was it in the middle of the
It was
summer?
in the summer, yeah.
It was the middle of the summer.
was in
Y'all
the
had no
summer.
AC.
It
Oh
was
man,
probably,
that's
like late May.
that
early
sounds
June.
literally torturous.
It was tough, and it's whatever. It's life. You sweat a little bit, you get
Sweat a little bit, you know what I'm
keep
saying? You
moving,
take
you know?
another shower, and then you take another shower.
go outside.
In Houston, man, in the summers, I take probably about 2 or 3 showers a day because as soon as I leave the house, I'm soaked and drenched in sweat. We said earlier, I just don't like extreme weather conditions in general. I don't like snow. I don't like it when it's hot as hell. So I'm guessing, since we had such a cold winter, I'm think we're gonna break some records this summer.
I'm not. I don't know.
I don't know. It's time to stop sleeping on the whole global warming theory. In my personal opinion. I mean, we're in a red state, so of course our leaders are, not. They don't follow that per se, but at the same time, it's getting more and more real every day. I thought that.
Well, this is also a blue city. All the major cities in Texas are all blue.
Yeah. But
Deep
I
blue.
would say so. I would say it's mostly blue because it's more people there. But at the same time, general public of Texas, I would say, literally when we drive in between these cities,
Sure.
all these little cities in between, it's got,
You go out there to Tomball, you go
Tomball? I mean, I feel like that's even fairly close.
I mean, these are the places I like to go because I could go there no mask. I know the places that is deep Republican that I could just care less, and because they don't care.
Yeah, Texas is so big. I haven't looked up now that you bring it up, I have never thought to look up the the ratio, because I remember when we was doing the ballots and we was, they was counting. I think it was almost 50-50 as far as blue and red, right? Like the Reds barely won.
I don't know. I didn't look that deep.
Yeah,
into
I'd
it.
have to look. I have to look. I mean, I don't really have to look because I really don't care that much. But
I mean, one thing that I took away from the COVID situation, I would like to live in a Republican state
Oh,
because
really?
I want freedom of choice. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
I want to go out and have fun. I want to go to restaurants. I want to keep my life going. Like now if people are, if they're fearful per se, like I get it. Like make your own decision. I don't want to be kind of someone telling me directly like you can't do this, and this. It's like no, I want to be led by courageous leaders that are gonna like. I want how you want to spend half your time in Florida. I mean in California. I want to spend half my time in Florida because I feel like we're kind of not open enough here in Texas.
Really?
I want to just be like whatever, we're rolling. Like you get it, we're moving on.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know, man. I feel like it's a sort of negligence with that, but I do understand where you're coming from. But I don't know. It was a real pandemic going on. I say was because cases are going down, but at the same time, I don't know. That's an interesting theory. Like, if you choose to live in a Republican state, I feel like Republicans are kind of detached at times, because they have their own priorities at hand. Whereas I guess the Democratic Party is more for we the people.
I don't believe that.
I mean, it's a personal opinion.
But see, like I'm gonna take the TD Jakes approach. That I don't really want to get too affiliated with politics per se.
Yeah, I'm not really deep into either one. I understand. Like, if I was a Republican, if I had a certain way of order of things, it's been going this way for 100 years, and it's working in my favor. I'm not going to want to change things as well.
Sure, yeah. But it was today, though, that really kind of like my eyes opened to. I was in Fifth Ward, and I was talking to this woman, and they had this church that was giving out a bunch of like kind of food and stuff. And I remember us being in that area during the Relief King concept with Trey the Truth and Rogers. And she was telling me that they don't have water and power still. And I was like, dang, well, I get the power part because that was a state concept. The water part was the city. So I thought about it, I was like, damn, the Republicans hold these people, and then the Democrats hold these people as well. So my thinking was that, all right, why don't we because they had a big church there. It's like, okay, why don't we get some generators and put at least a few in these communities so they have a place to go that still has power and water.
I don't know, man. I feel like, in general, the upper class doesn't care about the lower class or the common people. So
I wouldn't say
no
that.
matter which party you choose, the people up top are not really looking out for the people on the bottom.
It all depends on the individual.
I mean, that's the individual, but I'm talking about the party in general.
Yes.
I mean, it's
one
true.
One thing that I do have learned through human beings, like no matter who's in positions of influence, more than likely they're gonna act very similar to the person that they're what do you call it? What do they say when they take over the what is it called? Like the incumbent? That's what like more than likely they have very similar, things because like when Trump became president, it was a big deal. People come to the border. Same things happen right now with Biden, just doesn't get any recognition. So a lot of these things are very similar. So, and I don't fault these people because I think like when I hear these people talk down on Biden, it's like, I don't think it's going to be that bad. And vice versa, like, because Charlemagne says that people are not as great as you think they are.
Right.
And they're also not as terrible as you think they are as well.
Right.
So that's kind of how I look at it. And my thing is like, I know that you are big on, investing from the grassroots and,
right.
And I respect that we have a different philosophy. I'm kind of like, we'll just get in the streets and kind of lead the way. And then those individuals, because if you look what's going on now, these individuals, they just want to get recognized on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like on all these other things. I see it on like when I watch YouTube.
Who are these individuals?
Like politicians and things like that. We'll say people like Ted Cruz. We'll say people like AOC. Well, hell, Donald Trump, was a prime example.
It's a popularity contest.
And I was thinking about that as well. I was like, wait a second. The people that were voting in are straight, like you said, just popularity contest.
It's literally like who likes these people and their principles better. But the reason why people jump into these situations and things still go the way they do, because when a new president comes or a new politician comes, everything doesn't reset. Everything is still in motion. That's why people get into office and they have to either undo some old things or keep going along with things that are happening, and they have to pretty much divide like what they give their energy to. And the whole border shit, that's why you say, like, it's still going on, but Biden has his energy more into the whole, coronavirus and the 1.9 trillion dollars that they're about to spend, and like I don't disagree with what you're saying. Is what I'm saying is just like, as a president and a leader, you have to choose what you put your energy into.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's why I say it's all about going from the grassroots, because you can pick from the bottom up who you believe in and who stands by your own core values and the things that you're trying to fix. And we all empower this person to move forward and move up in the political chain versus just, voting on these people who came out of nowhere. I don't know who these people are. I don't know who Joe Biden is. I just heard about him since when Obama came around.
Yeah.
I barely knew about Barack Obama. I'm also not into politics like that.
Yeah, me neither.
But had I been into politics, I feel like I would want to move people that I personally know, I've seen like go up from the bottom up. I want to move them from, wherever. I don't know the steps, but you move from the bottom to mayor to freaking governor, and then you move to the Senate and the House, and then you move to, presidency or however that works. I'm sure there's no steps because Donald Trump didn't do any of that. Like I said, it's a popularity contest, but most people who have been in the presidency have some form of experience in the past of being like a mayor or, some kind of governor or a senator, etc. And these people had to be put in these positions by the regular people,
Correct.
like the people like you and me. So I feel like if we were more proactive in moving our politicians, we could see some real progress in America. Just let it hang right there. Just let it. Drop.
We'll let it breathe.
Let it breathe.
And going back to the Trump concept, it's like we have to understand why he was elected. People were tired of politicians, acting a certain type of way, so they wanted that more kind of authentic, even though it was a wild concept.
Right.
That's what individuals were kind of yearning for because they were tired of being lied to. They were tired of kind of being played per se. When people say they're going to go do something and they don't end up really doing it. And
Right.
that's all. You can probably even look at Trump's policies, and they probably don't align with what he was saying at the same time as well. So there's a lot of.
Trump lied as well.
He was a wild boy.
Yeah, all politicians lie. Like, it's just part of the game. But
so my thing is, take the Gandhi approach: is be the change in the world you want to see, and then eventually people will be drawn to that kind of energy.
That's
and
true.
They'll want to kind of go along with that as well.
That's true. That's true. I'm talking about as far as politics, though. It's just like you want to be the change you want to see, but at the same time, you want to put people in positions, people who you want, unless you want to be a politician yourself.
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to shut out half of the population, though.
What you mean?
Because say, once you kind of, T.D. Jakes was talking about that in his book. That's the reason why he never dabbled in politics, because he realized that that's not his field to begin with. He was just here to preach the word of God. And also on the back end, he said that if I chose to get behind a politician, I'm basically shutting the door on half a community that I could grow closer to Jesus Christ. And so he said that he doesn't want anything to do with it.
Honestly,
and he got
that sounds like a political answer from a preacher.
I personally grasp what he was saying because you can see that within everyone. Like people like Mother Teresa, they saw the spirit of Jesus in everyone. They helped every single one.
Right.
There's a gentleman out there in Pakistan. Let me see my phone.
What you about to look up something?
Well, I don't want to
just
say his name wrong. Yeah, I don't want to kind of like screw his name up. And I was watching some of his videos, and he was kind of like Mother Teresa, but for Pakistan. And this woman this week was kind of explaining that to me because she was Muslim, me being a follower of Jesus Christ. She said, look, no matter what, just look at these people as people. And that's when she mentioned this guy's name is and I'm sorry to all the Pakistanians. His name is Abdul Sattar Eid Karachi. And I was watching a few I was watching a few of his videos, and it went along with that same thing. He was able to go into these extreme impoverished areas, and he was treated like, like wonderfully per se. And a lot of people wouldn't go in there, even the Taliban, or it was some like Al-Qaeda or something like that. They put a hit on him because they knew if they captured him, then the Pakistani government would have to give them stuff because he was such an impactful person within that, country. And so that's kind of my thought process is that, just go out there and, lead the way, then people will follow and, help everyone. Like Dave Portnoy. Dave Portnoy, like I speak about with the Barstool kind of concept. They raised like $36 million because the government really wasn't helping out, small businesses. And he was, definitely advocate that he was Republican. He supported Trump, this, and this. And he definitely said, like, I don't care what you voted at. I'm here to help people. And, that's kind of my thought process as well.
Okay. I feel that. And just imagine having one of these people at power, though, the people who are for the people in general. Because at the end of the day, the government's going to exist. So we can't completely ignore it in a sense.
I mean, if you look at it, like, it's a lower realm concept. Because if things aren't really happening. If we're arguing all the time and we're trying to say, I'm right, you're wrong, and I'm not taking anything that you're saying. Now, I'm sure not all of them like that. Like the woman I mentioned out in Hawaii, the Gabby lady, she was very moderate, kind of, she was willing to go work with Republicans, and, vice versa. You'll see that also, like there was a guy out in I don't remember these people's names. And I like seeing that, people that are willing to put forth the effort, say, you know what, maybe there's a few things that I can learn from it, and maybe there's a few things that, I may be wrong at. Let me go kind of rethink my thought process. And that's why it was the Supreme Court Justice, what's the African-American guy that, was a part of, you know what I'm talking about? The Supreme Court Justice. Anyways, he was basically saying, I got to look up his name, that he enjoys, sitting down. What was the lady that died? The Gabbard or something like that?
You don't know nobody.
Bro,
man.
I don't remember these people's names, my bad. I'm sorry. It was a woman that passed away, recently. She was a Supreme Court justice. It was a big deal. And, the Democrats didn't want them to come in and think. And I felt like that was foul as well, that they just pushed someone in. And they kind of should have waited. And I grasped the concept of why it happened. And he said the reason why he liked working with her, because it sharpened him. So, again, that's why I say Houston's the most progressive city in the United States, because when you have a multitude of cultures, ethnicities, religions, all the above, everyone has to try to think and work together. So if we're all thinking the same way, are we really progressing? We're just getting validation on how we think and feel.
I feel that 100%. I feel that. I'm just saying that no matter how you feel about the government's going to exist.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I wouldn't work with these individuals. I'm just not going to give them that deep time of day. Like Mother Teresa, President Reagan asked her to come out there, and she was so busy doing her community work, and it was the President of the United States. She said, I don't have time for this right now. I have to handle my business. I have to handle God's work. This is nonsense. This is just recognition. Who cares about that? Because
that's what she said.
That's basically paraphrase, you know what I mean? Of course she didn't say that. This is a very loving woman. She was just saying, hey, we're busy right now. I'll come, sometime in the future. And that aspect. And
you're adding your own bias to it.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean?
Let's tone down on that.
Well, my thinking is that it's just again, with the Gandhi concept, be the change in the world you want to see, just go do that. And that energy will attract those people that have that kind of more loving concept.
I feel that. I feel you wholeheartedly. I'm just saying that you put these people in powerful positions. We're gonna have to elect people to put in these powerful positions regardless. So why not, as a community, invest in the people that we want to see in these positions? If we had a Mother Teresa type character be, our president.
Those people that do that make those kind of acts and those commitments, they're not in that kind of realm of life, because that's not.
As I'm saying, you don't know that because you haven't made that kind of study. Just because somebody wants to be a politician doesn't take away from their integrity.
Well, I don't know that there's correct. I'll take that.
Right. You can't just assume that everybody who wants to be a politician is
I guess
evil.
the ones that have influenced me per se, they weren't involved in that. They stuck with their lane. They knew what they were going to do, and they stuck with it, and they kept it rolling.
I mean, that's everybody. I mean, what if somebody I don't know. Like Barack Obama wanted to stick in that lane and just say, hey, I'm dedicating my life to politics, changing the world through politics. I mean, I don't feel like there's a negative connotation to that,
I think if that's what you want to do, go for it. And I also feel as if, it goes literally, I remember turning onto that street and said, Sheila Jackson Lee, representative. And then I speak with these people that have no water. You know what I mean? So I'm like, well, dang, this is your representative. Why do you not have any water? Why does the rest of the city have water and y'all don't? That doesn't make sense to me. And now that's a city issue in my eyes. And I also think that's a reflection of the community. I think that's a reflection of the community leaders in that, because I don't think that church should act like that. I think there should be at least 5 to 10 generators in there for these people in that community to help them out. Now, bottled water, like there's enough bottled water around here. You got people like Trey that are willing to go out there and give immensely. People like Rogers, that aspect. There's Mattress Mac. Hell, even this time, Joel Osteen, I'll support him, because he changed his act. I like change in aspects. Like you make a mistake and you go another direction. So these individuals are willing to kind of step up. The politicians, I just don't care enough about it. It's like it's a popularity vote.
I feel like you're putting, like I said earlier, I feel like you're putting your own bias on politics in general.
That's true.
And not
take
all
it.
Politics is negative.
No, but I'm just saying.
People interested in politics are negative.
What I'm saying is that the ones that I would support
Right.
are the more kind of moderate ones that are willing to step up and say, here's an olive branch. I'm willing to work with you. I don't want to any extreme, like you said, you don't like extreme weather. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with me. I don't want to see extremalities within these concepts. Like, I would never vote Republican or I would never vote Democrat. Like, if that's your mindset, Patrick Davis said that. He said, ask people, would you ever vote for the other side from whoever you voted for last time? And if they say no, in the conversation right there, because they're not even open-minded to hear what you have to say.
And how often do you run into these kind of people?
Every day.
Really, people who just refuse to go.
Bro, I'm an Uber driver.
They don't open up their perspectives. So but you just told me that you work in the most progressive city in the state.
Sure.
But you meet people every day who don't believe in progress.
That doesn't mean there aren't people that have the same concepts, that they're not just stuck in their ways. Just because this city is very progressive, I also meet a lot of people that are very moderate as well, that are very open-minded. You ask me, have I ever met these people? Yes, you're going to meet people that have the same thought process that aren't willing to change in that moment, and I get it as well. I understand.
So how do you feel about this whole global warming?
I think that why make predictions so far in the future? If we're going to make a prediction, this is what we should do. I'm going to predict something now. Global warming is going to happen 1,000 years from now. Because I'm not going to be here to see it. So it's like, by that time, it's like, who cares what happens?
So what about the people who have empathy for the people in the future?
Well, we all,
Let's say, all right, so I feel like, what if right now we all suffer from a type of selective empathy, I'd say. So for people who are concerned about the future, I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with that, but I also don't feel like there's nothing wrong with people who's not concerned for it, you know, like yourself. But at the same time, it's still a thing and it still exists.
Well, we had to see you got to strip it all the way down to the very basic concept. It's the animal instinct internally, our side of us, our animal ego that wants to survive. That's all it really shakes down to. So once you see that concept, and it was like the dude that I met today, the SpaceX, he was opening up what they were doing. I was listening to what he was saying, their meetings, yada, yada, yada. And I said, well, this just sounds very egotistical. And I could get behind it because I understand we want to survive. Hell, I said this to, a woman this week that I want to have 2 boys. This is me, my animal instinct wanting to survive because I'm the only boy in my whole family. Like, if I want the James name to keep going.
I mean, but as humans, we act off ego. Like, even the people you talked about earlier, the people who are just so giving.
Those people don't have egos.
No. I feel like a lot of people do stuff out of ego to make themselves feel good. So it's
the individuals that I mentioned were egoless.
Okay, so you think, like, for example, for like this whole, what is it, the Trade of Truth thing? It's like, of course he does it because he wants to help.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he also does it because it makes him feel and look good.
Correct.
So there's ego in there.
There's some in that, because I know Trey personally. So like being around him, you can see the behind the scenes how this man is, and I do feel like he can, with the right guidance, he can elevate out of that to overcome that concept because he has that giving heart.
But I'm saying like there's a lot of people out here who have quote unquote giving hearts, but they do things simply because it makes them feel good, not because they actually care about people.
Sure, and I understand that.
Yeah, so you also have to be aware of that as well. It's just all about awareness. That's all I'm preaching.
No, like I mentioned to a lot of people, I just don't pay attention to it because like Jesus said this before he died, was that no matter what, I think it was like maybe Judas, this is a story in the Bible, where like Judas came to him and said, Jesus, like Mary was putting like oil in his head. It was basically like, Jesus, we could use this oil for poor people, XYZ. Mm-hmm. And he said, Judas, enjoy your time with me right now. There's always going to be problems in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And he was basically saying, enjoy the spirit of unconditional love that's right here with you, and enjoy the moment. What's going on right now? It was like this woman, that I was that I've been seeing here recently. She started talking about a lot of stuff that was going on. I was like, where is it at? And I was like, all I see right now in front of me is this television, these pictures. I don't see what you're talking about. Again, it goes back down to the gratitude thing. I'm not saying that we can't progress forward. If we spend 70% at least passing on what we're being grateful for and the other 30% on what we can do to progress, we're going to live a more joyful life, because all of us are really looking for the same thing, which is unconditional love. And so if we go to the source, which is energy, universe, God, it doesn't matter the adjective people want to use, same concept. If we go to that source and we fill ourselves up with that source, that unconditional love, and we'll be guided through that. That's how I truly feel. And I mean,
so Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the world, he has a plan to go to zero emissions within, I think, 30 to 50 years. Boy. Yeah, so he just wrote a book. It came out on February 16th. It's called How to Avoid a Climate Disaster. And he has a plan to go from, like I said, 51 billion tons of emissions to zero within 50 years, and it'll cost trillions of dollars to make this happen. I personally see it as almost impossible. Like we had this talk before with the whole everybody stuck on, non-renewable fuels. But his plan is to switch over. But to go back to what you're saying is, here's a man who has power, influence in power and money.
We both know power only comes from unconditional love. So he has influence.
I mean, look, the dude has power and influence. The dude, he has a lot of money. He can make a lot of calls that can make things happen. Yeah. That's literal power as well. I am very aware of the David Hawkins, but I live in 2021 as well. We read these books to be aware of what's happening, and we choose what we subscribe to. I do believe in what you're saying, but Bill Gates has power. So he's using his power and his influence to hopefully change the world for people in the future. He says 30 to 50 years, he's probably not going to live all that time, but with technology how it is what it is. He might, apparently there's technology that will have us living, 50 years longer. I don't know the specifics, but it's coming. But yeah, it's like, how do you feel about somebody like that who actually has the power and influence to make a change so substantial, I say?
Well, I feel that I think it's a wonderful thing that's what he yearns to do, him and his family. And again,
it's not even for his family. I'm saying it's for mankind in general.
I'm saying him and his family are doing, him and his wife, because it's like the Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, foundation.
Yeah.
So now I have a different philosophy on it, and are we still wrong?
Actually. It paused over here. Yeah, we went a long time. We went a long time.
Yeah,
had a very intriguing conversation.
Yo, these are a lot of Marc and I's conversations. You should have heard the one. What was it when we were coming back from the airport? We were talking about the global warming thing.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
That's okay.
It's okay.
That's how we grow.
That's how we grow. We grow with conversations and hearing perspectives, and hearing new ideas. Speaking of, we're going to get to new ideas. We're going to take a commercial break, a radio break, or whatever I want to call these at the moment, but we're taking a breather. We'll be right back for our last section.
The Marc Haize Show is brought to you by The Major Insurance. If you want reliable car insurance part-time, then go to The Major and save your dime.
So it seems like COVID is coming to a wrap. I feel like it would always be around, but we're coming to the post-COVID world.
I go places no mask.
Oh yeah, exactly. We're coming into a post-COVID world right now. So I'm just curious, so how do you feel about the whole reopening schools, man? So basically,
I'm a little selfish on the school concept.
I feel like, man, the kids need to be in a social environment so they can learn these skills for the future, because it's just going to create a whole society of awkward kids. That's just going to be strange. They ain't going to know how to talk to each other in person. They're going to be texting. I'm already guilty of this myself. I text my roommate. I was like, I don't feel like walking downstairs. Like, I don't know what I randomly ask them, just random shit. But the point is, it's just like we're gonna get to a whole climate of people who are afraid to have face to face conversations. It's gonna be strange. It's gonna be a very awkward world that we live in. But we also have a world that's coming in with aerial rideshare. I want to talk about some new ideas that's coming around.
What is that?
So aerial rideshare, this is a company called Archer and another called I think Joby Electronics. They're building pretty much mini planes to fly you to the airport to save you money. So, for example, to get an Uber from the Valley to LAX, it's probably like $50 to $80.
And tell people how many miles away that is.
Ah, shit, probably like 20 something.
Yeah,
Right, 20. Yeah, it's expensive.
30, probably, somewhere around that tops.
Probably not even. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Because even LA and in general is not even that big. Like, so that's why I came back to Texas. I don't even mind driving like 20 minutes anymore, because in LA you drive 20 minutes, you only went like 5 to 10 miles.
What? And then you got to sit there and wait at that LA light,
Yeah,
to make
LA
the
light
turn.
and take that LA
What?
left.
Only one person turning, at a time.
If you want to get daring, yeah, it's just a lot of new things. So aerial rideshare. So they think they're putting one in Dallas within the next 5 years, as well as Los Angeles. But it's going to be little tiny ports, because in Los Angeles they have a system called the flyaway bus, to where they have different buses that go through different places in the city that go directly to the airport, different hubs, whatever. So they're going to do the same situation, but with planes. So they're going to have planes in the valleys where people can get to their flight in like 20 minutes. But the plane flies only 60 miles. A plane only flies 60 miles at 150 miles an hour. It has like a kind of like a drone-like technology to it.
Uber was doing that. And I think, all right.
Uber was doing Uber flying, but they're making planes specifically for this. Like United Airlines just put in an order, I think, for like $3.1 billion. Don't quote me on this. It's either, I got the numbers mixed up, but it's either 1.6 or $3.1 billion to this company called Archer, just so they can have like a system to where people can fly to the airport.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Apparently it's a whole flying car concept, but it's just basically like a small helicopter, but it flies faster. It's interesting. I look into it simply because I'm always reading about new companies, because I've been, getting into day trading and just the stock market in general, and like where money goes. Like we were saying before, money flows. Like they're going public very soon, probably within this year. There's a lot of companies. Roblox is going public this year too, so I'm curious how that's going to go. Apparently, that's a whole community of gamers that spend hella money. But there's a lot of new ideas just floating around. Like, I was about to say Nas. I was thinking about Nas 100, whatever. But NASA, they just landed a rover on Mars.
Wow.
I don't even know why we're doing that. Apparently, they're trying to look for some kind of life forms, I guess, to see if we can live there and it could be another Earth.
Because that's what this gentleman told me today. He said that, and I could rock with it. He said, we want to put humans in other planets to keep the species going, if case anything were to happen here.
That makes sense. I mean,
I could rock with
that goes with the whole thing you were saying earlier with the whole overpopulation thing. Mm-hmm. You can move some people over there. I mean, if they want to go. I wouldn't want to live on Mars. Seems pretty lonely. I mean, of course, they'll build a whole community, but if anything fucks up, you are in some shit. You are a long way from home.
Oh, yeah. Worst thing that happens, you die.
Worst thing that happens is you die. Yes, that is a rather large consequence in my opinion, but we'll, also, we got the whole Bitcoin and Dogecoin going on. The future of banking is about to turn upside down. Tesla, they invested $1.5 billion into Bitcoin, so it just skyrocketed. But apparently everything's going down, Ethereum and Bitcoin and all that, because, people are taking out their profits. They went big. I think this past year, last year, like I think I said on the earlier episode, it went from 30,000 to 50,000. Even before that, it was like at 10,000. So people are really investing in the whole cryptocurrency market. I think, to correct myself as well, because I was listening to an old episode, I said cryptocurrency is limited. Cryptocurrency is unlimited. There are tons of different types of cryptocurrency out there. Bitcoin specifically is limited. That's why it's compared digitally to gold. So it's an interesting world that we're moving into. Flying cars and electronic money. I'm curious how electronic money is going to gain value because the whole stimulus situation, like I mentioned earlier, we're passing another stimulus for $1.9 trillion after we just did, I think, 800 something billion. So it's only a matter of time where everything's just going to get more expensive. Of course, inflation, i.e. inflation. But it's interesting the world that we're moving into. More people are having money, and more people are spending money. Even though it's COVID, things are still going up. I'm curious how, companies like Carnival and AMC are going to turn out and all this. Like when everything, quote unquote, reopens.
I went to the movies last week.
I love going to the movies. I love going inside the theater. Exactly. So is it going to turn around? They're doing this whole, everything is being premiered to streaming services now. HBO Max then came out the game like they got something to prove. Everybody's streaming everything. And there's also this whole new technology called NFTs. I have to look up specifically what it stands for. I think non-fungible tokens. But it's a way where you could sell your art digitally. I keep fucking up on this word. Digitally. You can sell your art digitally. So basically you can make it exclusive. So Mark Cuban.
You're pretty good at the UK, y'all.
Oh, thank you. I've been practicing a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Been practicing quite a bit.
You should put in some roles for that.
I'll do my best. Like these guys, the dude who plays Fred Hampton in the Judas.
That was a movie I saw.
British as fuck.
That was a movie that I saw.
Yeah, he's British as hell. Like people be coming to Americans taking their jobs.
So why don't we go to UK and take their jobs?
That's what I'm working on, mate. That's what I'm working on.
All right, let's get back.
Let's get back to it. We also, we got renewable energy. I don't know if we're gonna go to zero emissions, but we can at least go halfway. I personally care about the future. We'll get to the point where America may be inhabitable. Not America, but the world may be inhabitable within the next 100 years. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not a scientist. I don't sit and study these things, but I do want a better lifespan. I don't know. I do want a better life in general for my kids and my kids' kids. So I do have empathy for them in that sense. So I do feel. So when you said earlier, who cares? I mean, I do care somewhat to a point because I don't care about what happens in 1,000 years. That is true. But I would like, my legacy to be around that long. I ain't gonna lie, it's a little ego in it. I don't care what you want to say about it.
Okay.
But I don't care. I want my name to live on, but at the same time, it's impact over everything, So, I mean, I'm going to just wrap this up with this quote from Jack Welch.
There we go.
I'm not really sure who Jack Welch is, so I have to do some research on that. But I like this quote. He says, "Control your own destiny or someone else will." I bring this up because it's the future. We're constantly making the future happen with our present actions. So everything that you're doing today is going to affect you in 10 years. So just keep that in mind. If you're working and slaving at a job that you don't want to do, if you're not working on your own business on the side, getting your own paper, just know that in 10 years, 20 years, or, in 3 years that they decide to let you go and you just broke, that's your fault. So you just got to put in everything you do today is going to affect your future. All right, you had anything you want to close on, man?
I think that's a good way to close.
It's a good one, man. Y'all have a blessed one. Thanks for tuning in to the Marc Haize Show. Good night. Or good morning, whatever time you watch this. Gotta play it cool. Do what I gotta do.